Hello. So it's been a minute since I've been on. I've been doing some reconstructing in my own life and changes and adjustments. And so I decided to pick up and relocate suddenly. And I'm generally very comfortable with sudden change. I think that's just kind of how just part of how I was meant to be, is to be able to roll with the punches, as they say, even if I'm the one who who creates those punches, for myself or against myself, because we do things that take action that's both for us and against us, right? So welcome to the channel. Again, my name's Nehru, and you're tuned into The Encourager. So yes, and I see I did a video actually when I was just starting out on this journey a couple of days ago, but the video has disappeared or something. But that morning I got a call from someone who I had not spoken to in probably a decade, and she is the wife of a serial entrepreneur. He owns a lounge, a kind of nightclub, and then he owns, or did own, I think he sold it, he did own a tire repair shop. He also does car auctions, so he buy and sell cars, and that's a per request basis, I believe that is how that goes, that part of his business. And then he owns a multi-million-dollar public adjusting company. And a public adjuster is someone who is an advocate for you. I'm not a public adjuster, so this is a free commercial bite for public adjusters. But public adjusters are advocates for the homeowners. And so if you have an insurance claim on your home, and you're feeling like, and in most cases you are, feeling like you're getting shafted by the insurance company because their job is to take, and never give, right? And it's amazing. There needs to be some type of program out there that says, okay, if you paid 10 years, 20 years into this, you get some type of rebate, you get some type of deduction mailed to you in the form of a check if you consistently pay your premiums, because in most cases insurance companies are collecting money without the insured ever having to file a claim, and they live in their house for 20, 30 years. They pass it on to their kids. There's never a claim. They've been paying all that money all that time. There's nothing wrong with a kickback, right? Especially at that level of faithfulness to stay a client of that company. So anyway, that was a small commercial break for public adjusters. They come in and they say, you know what, that's not fair. I'm going to do an assessment on the damaged property, and so then we're going to use our analysis and figure out what this is for. And again, they're for your good. They are advocates for the homeowner. So if a homeowner sees the insurance company only wants to give you 10 grand, often the public adjuster can get 50, 60, 70 grand. So 5, 6, 7, 8 times what that insurance company was saying that was the max that they could give you. So anyway, that's the other business that he has. So she calls me out of the blue. Again, I haven't talked to her. Her name's Miriam. I hadn't talked to her for 10 plus years, easily, or close to it, if not. And so she calls me on my mobile phone. She says, "Hi, Kevin. I have a check for you." That was the first thing she said. She didn't say hi, good morning. She didn't say how are you, how are the kids. She didn't say how's your wife. I don't know if that other Kevin's married. I have no idea. I don't know if he has kids. But I said, I think you have the wrong number. I knew who it was from a caller ID, even though her last name she had, I guess, updated her last name, unless maybe they weren't married at that time. They've been together 22 years, so they've been together for quite some time, long before they actually got the legal papers, I know. So I said, no. She says, "This isn't Kevin the electrician?" I said, "No." I said, this is Kevin, the accountant. Oh, you're the tax guy. And she realizes, right, she made a mistake. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get in touch with Kevin, the electrician. That's how I have his name saved in my phone. And I said, oh, okay, Miriam, no problem. It's great to hear from you, right? Okay, no problem, bye, right? A minute later, she calls me right back, and immediately says, oh my God, what am I doing? So then I take the time, because I'm paying attention, I'm taking the time and I'm like, okay, this is, she made a mistake twice. She's a very sharp woman. She's a realtor. She's a very sharp woman. That's unusual. You calling me back twice on error, something's amiss there. At least intuitively, I would say so. Most people would brush it off, be like, stop calling me. No. Soften things and open up your chakras, be a little more intuitive and pay attention to the things that are happening around you, right? Someone calls you by mistake once, and that is not even a mistake, but there may not be any elaboration on it. They call you back twice, you better keep them on the phone and find out what's going on in their life, how it relates to you, where you can help maybe, right? Because that's how life works. That's how life happens, okay? And so I asked her the second time, I'm like, okay, there's something to this. I'm packed up. I was packing the house. I've made the abrupt decision to give everything away in the house and sold my motorcycle, gave away the car, and just pack a suitcase and just leave. And so I've ended up out west, and so we'll see where this goes. So anyway, and I was specifically guided to a particular place, to a specific place, and I checked again, right? Like the military says, check, recheck, check again, or a carpenter, or someone of that nature, right? They say measure twice, cut once, right? So I was asking numerous times, this is the place, this is the place, this is the place. No other place was a confirmation except this area. So, yeah, I heard other things, but none of them ever got a confirmation, only this place, right? Or this area, okay? So, and two cities in particular. So that's what I did. I gave everything away. And in fact, I woke up the morning that I knew it was time to do this. I woke up, and for those of you who listen to country, bless you. For those of you who don't, who believe that it's only certain ethnicities, enlighten yourself a bit, okay? Because George Strait or Josh Turner, right? Luke Bryan, they change your life. John Party, right? So I woke up one morning and I was hearing that song immediately, and this happens to me a lot. Songs are frequent, birds are frequent with me. The place that I left a couple of days ago, there was constantly blue jays, cardinals in the backyard, constantly, especially in the morning after my meditation. There would be 3, 4, 5 of these birds constantly all around. So it is very, very spiritually true about the spiritual guides when they talk about these creatures and what their significance is. The crows constantly, that day, in fact, there were, 5 or 6 crows on a line grouped together, and they were just squawking constantly. I don't know if they squawk. I don't know what that is. But whatever that is, they were just constantly, right, throughout the entire morning. And so I asked her, I'm like, this is no coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. But second time, definitely not a coincidence. So I asked her, I said, Miriam, I said, how's everything going with you and Tom? She says, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. And then she begins to tell me what sounds like, except for the male-female physical is switched around, not the energies, not divine feminine, divine masculine, but the physical part is switched around. So she is now dealing with the dark night of the soul and the awakening process and walking away and all of that. Whereas I've already done that. I've already gone through that process. Thank goodness, because that was hellish. And anybody who talks about the dark night of the soul, they will tell you that that is a horrible, awful experience. Despite the golden egg on the other side, right? That is absolutely just, it was bad. You might have dealt with depression, suicidal thoughts. It's bad. It's really, really bad. So anyway, she says, well, he hit a midlife crisis and he decided he was going to go get a Corvette. And again, they've been married for 22 or together for 22 years. He's going to go get a Corvette, and he, at this nightclub, starts dating not all, but many of the women who were at the club, whether working there or guests. And she said it just got out of control. He started posting pictures of them doing stuff on Facebook and right? And I'm listening to her and I'm like, yep, you're in the thick of it. You are right in the midst. You need to pay attention, you need to isolate yourself, and you need to remove your energy from that individual. You need to cut them off. That's what you need to do, because that is going to expedite the dark night of the soul and the awakening. And there's a lot the individual has to do, and a lot of that has to come through first loving yourself, right? Learning that the most important person above your kids, above your spouse, above your parents, above your boss, above your social structure or friends, above all of that, you first. If you don't give yourself a hug multiple times a day, every day, kiss yourself, right? Even if not physically, right? If you don't do that every day, then yeah, you're gonna start to show holes in certain areas, and that's what the enemy does. The enemy exploits the weak spots, right? So you think about a bicycle or any other something that might be valuable to someone. If a thief comes up and he sees the chain, and one chain's really, really, really thin, like the ones we had in the 80s that we used to lock our 10 speeds up with, right? And then he sees one of them chains that be around, a bully's neck, right? The big old thick chains like Junkyard Dog used to wear, for those of you who grew up in the 80s wrestling scene, right? Do you look at them chains, you're like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to, you definitely go for the weaker link, right? Pun intended, you go for the weaker link, because that is what the enemy does. So I'm telling her, I'm sharing with her, as she's sharing with me what I've gone through, and I tell her on that day, everything is literally packed. I'm standing in an empty house waiting for the landlord to come and me sign the closing of the lease and so on and so forth, right? So she says, oh my God, that's confirmation. I was praying that God would give me a confirmation and I need to leave. I said, I am packed. I am leaving today. She said, oh my God, that's it. So she's getting excited. I'm excited because it's confirmation for me that, yes, it's also time for me. So that's a double confirmation. One for her, one for me. Thank you, Father, divine source. Thank you very much, right? And so, she continues to tell me all these embarrassing things that he's putting on social media and all this with all these other women. And I share with her my experience and dealing with a third party in a scorpionic situation where the mother's a Scorpio, the daughter who I was engaged to get married to is a Scorpio. She's the one who stepped out and either was married when we started seeing each other or got married in the midst of us seeing each other. And in fact, she still goes to the church that I was a part of for 20 years. But after that situation, I left. And that's not the only reason. I left because I was being awakened and realized that Genesis to Revelation wasn't the truth. It's not even half the truth. There are 45 books missing from the Bible. That's not counting what they've condensed down between Genesis and Revelation, right? So I want the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? So help me, God, Yahweh, Holy Spirit, divine source, creator of all things, and that's what he's doing. So I took a leap, a major leap of faith, okay? And decided that there's no better time than the present. That's why it's called a gift, because it's that. It's a present. So that's what I did. So for those of you who are in a situation where you're on the edge of your seat, right? You're on a precipice and you're just standing there and you're like, I know it. I know the step I need to take. I know what I need to do. I know it. I just need a little nudge. Can somebody nudge me? Can somebody just, boop, right? So that I fall back like that Nestea plunge experience, right? You fall back, you're backwards, your hands are wide open, right? That trust game thing, I think that they do, trust exercise, right? So you do that, right? Here's the nudge. Here's at least my portion of a nudge, if you need one. Here's my portion of nudging you and saying, now is the time. Whatever that step is, now is the time. That could be, man, I've been an employee all my life. I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s. I've been wanting to do that. I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 20s. It doesn't matter when the realization comes, right? And the intuitive downloads. But I've been for however long. I would really love to just step out, and now is the time. Even if the only step you do today is to get your EIN and form your S corp, not LLC, because an LLC receives an additional 15.3% self-employment tax. So all the people online telling you to create an LLC, unless they tell you to create an LLC and then file a 2553 to have it taxed as an S corporation, don't listen to them, because an LLC is the same thing as a sole proprietor in the tax in the tax system's eyes, in the IRS's eyes. So you get no benefits tax-wise from being an LLC. You just get legal protection between your personal assets and the assets of the business. No tax benefits there. All right? And I think that might be the first time I've ever even offered tax advice on this channel. I've been doing taxes. I'm an accountant for 13 years, right? So, and I had my own small practice over in Florida, right? That again shriveled up when I got involved with that karmic Scorpio. So her mother's a Scorpio, she's a Scorpio, her best friend's a Scorpio, and her former husband's a Scorpio. All born between November 2nd, and her daughter-in-law or ex-daughter-in-law. I don't know if she's still married to her son. So between November 2nd and November 13th, which is when the Scorpio that I was involved with was married, there's 5 or 6 Scorpios, and they are more than a tightrope, right? So that's what I was personally up against. Okay, so me being the Archer, and with the astrological sign of the Cancer, the arrow is pointed at the heart of the Scorpio, and that's on purpose, because the Scorpio, not all Scorpios are evil, but the Scorpio, the Scorpionic energy represents death. Right? So I was fighting five Grim Reapers, trying to take me out, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So, and yes, they all work together. That's very, very true. They all work together. At least, I will say minus the daughter-in-law, because my understanding is she left that situation, left that guy, right? My karmic's, or my false twin flame's son, left him before I left her, right? Before I left his mother. So she may not have had anything to do with it. But the other ones, absolutely and for sure, without a doubt. And there's been confirmation on those. So anyway, just wanted to share that leap of faith story with you guys. So here I am, ready for whatever is next. I know I'm in the right place. I'm confident in that. And again, it's between, and the cities are neighbors. So it's one of the two cities, right? And I've been to this area of the country before. And so, yeah, so be encouraged, take your nudge, fall back with your arms open, and know that just like on Indiana Jones, which one was it? Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I believe, when he had to go across the bridge, but he could not see it, right? He had to walk this plank that was separating these two big entryways in this cave, in these two caves, right? He couldn't see it. But then when the camera panned away or at a certain angle, you could see there was a surface there, right? You got to take that step even if you don't see that surface, but only if your intuition is telling you to do so, not just because you want to start the business, because that alone is not enough, right? It has to be, timing has to be correct, because if it all is working together, excuse me, if it all is working together for our good, that means all of it, the clients you need at the right timing, they're going to need your help. That means the individual that's sending you the referrals, they need to be in right timing so that you can meet in a grocery store, standing in line, buying bread, right? All of those, that's what it means when all things are working together for your good. It's this crazy concoction of stuff with all sorts of stuff poured into it, but it all works together good and makes this delicious, I don't know, whatever you like, cake, pie, chicken, ribs, whatever sauce, whatever it is, right? So, anyway, thanks so much. I'm glad to be sharing where I am today and what's going on with me personally. And again, my name is Nehru, right? I am an Ascended Master, and today I wasn't birthed that way. I had to go through those processes I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and others. So I was born on the 333rd day of the year. I am a kidney transplant recipient. That transplant was on 7/7 of 17. And so my life's been marked all over the place with numbers and things of that nature, and synchronicities. So be encouraged, as I always say, and know that if you intuitively know that today is the day that you need to take that step, then know that you have at least one person in your corner saying, do it. Take the step. Close your eyes. Do that trust factor test. Fall back and know that divine has you all the way because of your faithfulness to hear and obey. And that's what it all comes down to, right? Talk to you guys soon.